Hey, ladies and germs! It's everything you want. It's nothing you need. Little something this week happened. A little thing called E3. Mm-hmm. You may have heard of it. Joey here hasn't.
No, I have not.
By the way, Joey's back on the podcast.
I am too.
For the second week in a row.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
It'll never happen again unless he forgets his credit card again.
Speaking of, I'm going to put that back in my wallet.
Probably, you want to like flash it in front of the camera real quick for me?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
We don't need to do that.
Okay.
'cause, you know.
So E3 has come and gone. We've got all the announcements. As we're speaking, the show floor is wrapping up for the final day, so it's coming to a close.
Oh, is it still going on like today?
Yeah, so today was the final like show floor day. So today
Okay.
was the last day you could go in and try out games and
Gotcha.
see what's going on.
By this time, we've already all played everything.
No one heard that.
Yeah.
So by this time, we've probably already all played everything.
Oh, is that what you said? Oh,
Yeah, I
thank
did.
you. Thank you. But yeah, so kind of overall disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mediocre start, a very disappointing middle, and then a very good high note ending. I think. I think we're all in agreement on that, except for Joey, who didn't get to watch.
I saw several Facebook statuses about Nintendo winning E3.
Yes.
What is your guys' opinion on that of those who
I
actually watched E3?
I think for the most part we're in agreement on that. It was either Nintendo or Square.
Okay,
Enix.
what did Square Enix announce?
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay, I did see that
So
too.
that was sort of. I think that's probably the game of E3.
Yeah, the biggest game of
that
E3.
was the
Okay.
big thing.
It's not even a question.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
The only other real big thing, shocker announcement to come out of it was they did confirm the Breath of the Wild sequel is now in development. We don't have a name. We don't know a release date. We don't know anything. They
It's
just
gonna
said,
be
hey,
called. It's gonna be
it's
called.
happening.
All we
on
know
it.
is I called it.
whatever you say.
It's going to be called Breath Too Wild.
I swear to God, if that's what they call it. I will
Two
have
Breath
This
Too Wild.
This also come from the company that
I love that Fast and Furious.
Breath of the
named
Wild
Wii
2,
U.
Electric Boogaloo. But so that was sort of the big curveball. Oh, and then Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash. That was the other.
I did see that
real
too.
big
There were a
thing.
lot of memes
Yeah.
about that.
And that's the only reason that's real big thing now is because since like 2002, Banjo belongs to Rare, who is now owned by Microsoft. So
Oh.
Banjo grew up on Nintendo. He was on Nintendo 64, and that's where everyone knows him
Yeah,
from.
the original
that's where he was a
Banjo-Kazooie and
success,
then
I should say.
right.
then
right.
Banjo-Tooie.
He
both
then
N64
had
titles.
he had a mediocre game on Xbox 360, which most people didn't like, and that's really been about it.
Gotcha.
And so now that's why it was like a huge deal because he belongs to Microsoft, but they were nice enough to Phil Spencer, I love you.
So it's kind of like Spider-Man being in the Marvel movies now, even though
sorta,
his
kinda.
movie rights are owned by
Yeah,
Sony.
that's a pretty good way to
they're just
Yeah.
playing nice.
explain it.
Yeah.
So that was a nice surprise.
So speaking of Spider-Man and Sony, Marvel's The Avengers was also revealed. The game doesn't look all too fantastic.
They didn't use.
It's
so
still too early, but
They pretty much, the studio must have been like, well, we paid all this money to have the license to use these Marvel characters. We're not going to pay the money to have the likeness of the actors. So the characters in the game do not really look like the
So-
movie.
And
Kind
they
of
don't-
like the Spider-Man game on PS4 was.
But with
similar,
that,
which
though-
was a great game, by the way.
Yes.
but the thing about
But
the
it
Spider-Man
was
is
not
it was
Marvel guy.
combined of all the best Spider-Mans. This just looks like their own random thing.
It looks like the big meme I see going around is it looks like they found stunt doubles of all the actors.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they just sort of they're like, yeah, here's the Avengers. These are the guys, right?
Yeah, it's the dollar store Avengers.
Like you
have
found you went to a children's
The
birthday
the
party.
Great Brand or Great
Yeah.
Value.
Yeah,
right?
it's the
Great
dollar
Value.
store brand. And so that's kind of what it looks like. We didn't really see gameplay of it.
No, we did. There was gameplay in the trailer. It was just with
Well,
no
but we
HUD.
didn't see like the full with
Yeah.
the HUD and everything. We didn't see like true.
And also, it's suspected that on the PlayStation 4 version of the Avengers, Spider-Man will come over.
That's the big tease is that because they were like, oh, for PlayStation owners, we have a big surprise for you that's coming.
Oh, so do
they
we
didn't
think
say
that
what.
Spider-Man is not on the game on other consoles?
That's probably the
Yeah.
big rumor is that he will be only on the PlayStation.
I see. That would make sense.
But the other big things coming out. So we start with EA, which gave us
Only
Star
one game.
Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a new Star Wars game. It looks fun. The footage they show is pre-alpha, so it looks a little rough. The Wookiee textures look like PS2 graphics.
Wow.
And that's a compliment.
Yeah, it was not it was not all pretty. It looks like a fun game, but it's definitely.
Yeah,
I'm
starring
glad they said pre-alpha because I was like, dude, this definitely needs some polishing.
starring the Joker from Gotham. The main character, that's the guy that plays Joker.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
also in Shameless.
Okay.
Shameless was I watched the first season of Shameless. That was pretty good.
I've never seen it. She's watched it. Oh, by the way, my girlfriend's off screen, so.
Our new
Hey,
camera,
nice
our
to
new
meet you.
camera operator hiding back there, working hard. So they show off Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in the first 30 minutes of their showcase, and then it was a new Apex Legends character, and then it was all sports, and that was it. That was it.
like the football?
And honestly, that's them every year because the sports titles are their bread and butter. So
I just.
that's it.
I mean, maybe I'm biased because I don't play sports games, but I can't imagine being excited about a new sports game every year.
You'd be surprised. Those things sell incredibly well, but it's
Yeah.
more or less the same game every year.
Well, that's
Because
what
it's
I'm
got the
thinking.
updated roster.
They just update the roster.
That seems like that could be DLC.
Right. No, exactly. And they're like, oh, well, we've added a new story mode. I'm like, I got news for you. The guy playing NBA or FIFA doesn't care about a story mode.
mean,
Yeah, what's the story mode? You're
I
fucking
would
playing
care
last
if
year's
it's-
series.
oh, you're the new rookie on the team, or,
No,
or you're the coach.
Did
and
you ever
gotta-
see, what was it? It was like NBA 2K16, 17, or 18. It was the one that had a story by Spike Lee.
What?
Yeah, no, Spike Lee did the story mode for that game, and I shit you not, it has a ghost. A
Okay.
fucking like your best friend gets killed and he becomes a ghost.
Why?
And this is like a
This is
basketball
the
game?
basketball game, yeah.
Joey's like, I'm sorry, what game was this again?
I'm actually surprised I got basketball right. I was not expecting basketball
Yeah.
to be the right answer.
Oh, there you go.
It was a Spike Lee joint. Because, whenever Spike Lee does a picture, it's always a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah. That's stupid. But yeah, so that's their bread and butter is just sports titles. So it was Star Wars, a new character for Apex Legends, and sports. That was it. That was all EA, which honestly is nothing outside the norm for them. That's always what they do. So that's all we got out of EA. And then Monday
then-
morning,
We had Sony.
nope.
Yeah.
We had crickets is what we had from Sony. They weren't there. Monday morning we got Xbox. It was weird. Xbox showed a lot of games. I cared about 2 or 3 of them.
I heard they showed like no actual gameplay.
Yeah, that's
I heard it was just
Yeah.
like
So they're like,
this
here's a
game
new
is being
game.
developed.
Here's another new
A lot of the
game.
conferences did that, like mostly Bethesda. and
Here's a
Microsoft were
new
the big
game.
ones.
And
it's,
here's
it's,
a new
It's
game.
kind of like we knew Halo Infinite was a thing because they already showed a trailer. the
right,
year
right.
before.
I remember Halo
We
Right.
saw,
Infinite being announced.
they
but
gave
I
us a
forgot.
new one. Still
So it
no,
was another
it's- we-
trailer, really
and we
with no
still know
gameplay.
exactly the same amount we knew last year about the gameplay.
Yeah. Now, what
Which
they
is
did
nothing.
confirm is they did the big thing at Xbox
a
was
Launch title.
there's a new console coming out under the name Project Scarlet. That's its code name,
Okay.
Project Scarlet. And launching alongside Project Scarlet in holiday 2020 will be Halo Infinite.
Now, do we know if that is a new version of the Xbox One?
It is a new console, next gen.
Next gen,
So it is
so-
not a Xbox One Plus. It is a
Okay, 'cause
it
I-
is a new is the Xbox 2 or whatever whatever the heck they're gonna call it. We know it's
That was still the worst fucking naming decision they could
Yeah.
have possibly come up with.
well, and Phil Spencer, he said this console is developed with gaming in mind first.
Yeah, that's
It
one of
is
the
a
first things he
game
said.
console.
Yeah, because I remember with the Xbox One, it was the media.
Don Mitchell
It
was
was
just like,
the
oh, it's
all-
all in one.
That's why it was the
Yeah.
name one.
It does
because was
games,
all-in-one
but TV's
system.
cool. Yeah, no. So Phil Spencer's like the guys who developed the 360, the guys who developed Xbox Live. That's the people who's now working on
Okay.
this. It's gaming first. They're saying it's gonna be equipped with a solid state drive. It will have 120 frames per second.
Well, apparently Solid State Drive twice because that's what they said in the
Oh no,
video.
I found out. So here's a popular comment that during the trailer for it, one of the guys talking about it. It sounds like at first, and a lot of people put this comment. It sounds like at first he goes using SSD and solid state drive technology.
And, we're just
And I
like-
even caught that during the live.
yeah,
thing.
we
I go,
were like,
I'm
oh,
like,
that's the same.
I'm like, did he just say SSD and solid state drive? Mind you, this is Microsoft. It's like you think someone would notice that.
Now there are some hybrid
Well-
setups that would. He probably misspoke, but would still kind of make sense.
Well, what he
that-
actually said, he said SOC,
Oh, okay.
which is system on board chip or something like that.
Not sure what the actual saying is, but I know like Apple, all their hard drives are embedded on the motherboard,
Yeah.
so they don't have to go through a port per se. They're directly soldered,
soldered,
to
yeah.
from the hard drive to
Well, that's kind of what he was
the
saying.
communication
He's
channel, which
saying-
is Apple's justification for that is allegedly it means write and read speeds are significantly faster. So
Right.
that would make sense.
Right, so that's what he says SoC and solid state drive technology, not SSD and so. That's what everyone thinks he said. That's not actually what
There
he said.
was one part in the trailer that's kind of stupid. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're seeing frame rates. Frame
So,
rates
yeah,
we've never
the
seen
girl's
before."
like,
and then
"We're-
120 frames.
Yeah, so she's like, we're seeing frame rates that we've never even seen before. And then the next slide goes 120 frames per second, which if you're a PC gamer and you
You've
have a
seen
high
those
PC,
frames before.
you've seen them for years now.
Yeah,
so,
you got like monitors that are.
and they're also
160
talking about
hertz.
like 8K. I'm like, that's not even.
but yeah, so as far as a console is concerned,
Yeah,
yes, these are frame rates we've never
I've
seen
heard about
before.
the announcement of the 8K TV or something that's like $42,000 or
yeah, no, they were talking about.
I
it was
still
like,
don't have a 4K TV.
Yeah,
I'm
there
still
was
rocking a
I'm
1080.
pissed because I got a 4K TV for like $1,200,
and now they're like 400.
and now
bucks
it's like
at
it
Best
sounds
Buy
like
and
400
Walmart.
bucks, and
yeah.
and it's way nicer than whatever bullshit that I have.
Yeah,
It's
of
like,
course.
that was a mistake.
Um,
Like an 8-month difference.
But so I mean, it is frame rates we've never seen on a console, so it will be 120 frames for the first time on a console. But we still don't know the full tech specs for it. We don't know.
the only thing that popped up was there was a rumor saying that the PS5 is still stronger than.
Yeah, so we don't know the name, we don't know the price, we don't know the official date. We just know it is being developed, and next holiday,
And we also
2020,
know
it's coming out.
It's also going to have full backwards compatibility.
Yes,
that's
so
big.
so
That's-
Xbox One, 360, Xbox, whatever. If you buy an Xbox One Elite controller now, it will work on the next
All the
Xbox.
past controllers, all the
That's
past
nice
games.
because
Which
I
is
do have
very
an Elite
cool.
controller that I've used exactly
Right.
one time.
So I mean that's a very cool thing, and we'll see what Sony's response. Sony has actually released the tech specs for their next console.
What's that look like?
I don't remember. It was kind of weird. They
haven't
they
revealed the
haven't
whole
done
thing.
an actual showcase or presentation about it.
They just
They literally
press
just kind of
briefing?
it was just kind of some press info of, hey, here's our next console.
Hey,
we're
look,
working on it."
Spider-Man doesn't have load screens now.
Yeah, it was like, oh, on a PS4, Spider-Man takes 15 seconds to load. On this new system, it takes half a second. So like that
alright.
was what they showed. I mean, because again, solid state drive versus a hard drive, mechanical drive.
yeah. I mean, I kind of
but that's not going to help you in processing.
yeah. I kind of
power.
experienced that with Skyrim when I upgraded my desktop computer from a hard drive to a solid state.
Right, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Makes sense.
They did say the Project Scarlet it's DDR6, GDDR6 or something.
Dan stands for
GDDR6.
Revolution?
I haven't heard
For
about
the
GDDR5. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that's why when they said it, I was just like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
because
said
I think I think we're still on DDR3 for computer memory.
we're in DDR4 for RAM.
Is it? But or is the GDDR?
They were referring to the graphics. They were referring to graphics. They were
Okay.
saying it was
Because I thought that
GDDR.
was on 4. Or no, maybe no. That was
I don't
on
know.
5.
I don't know.
It's hard to keep
but
track.
they
I'm-
said it was GDDR6, and I was like,
Okay,
oh,
so
that's new.
that's new. Yeah.
yeah,
that's-
that is new.
So that'll be interesting to see how good that is, especially because I mean, what's really going to be a big deciding factor when you look at what the PlayStation 4 had versus the Xbox One on launch. The Xbox One was $499. The PS4 was $399. The PS4 at the time didn't have to be online, could play used games, and the Xbox One's marketing was all about, oh, it's got to be online.
Yeah,
it
I
won't
forgot
play
about that
used.
part.
That was their whole
That was
shtick.
a dumb move.
And then also at launch, a lot of the games we saw that were on both platforms, if you had bought the PS4 version, it typically performed better. I don't know if that's still the case, but I do know at launch that was a big thing where most games
Well,
were performing better on PlayStation.
It makes sense from what I remember because the specs for the PS4 are way better than the specs for the Xbox
Right,
One.
and so the rumor now is that Xbox has started to tease their specs, even though we don't have the official list. There's already rumors out there that are saying, nope, the PlayStation 5 still has them beat performance-wise.
And the original Xbox user interface was terrible. I don't know if they've changed. I'm assuming they've
The
changed
Xbox
it.
One interface?
Yeah.
No,
It
it's
was
still
god-awful.
it still looks like Windows 8.
It was fucking
It still looks like
god-awful.
Windows
It
8.
would crash.
I hate no.
You try to watch a Blu-ray, it would just crash.
Ever since I started working in computer repair, I've really started to understand people who love Mac. The more I work with Windows, the more I'm like, oh, this is why people hate.
Yeah, Windows.
This
great
is
for
why
one
people
thing,
buy Apple.
And it's gaming and okay, two things: business. There's some business applications that are only
Right.
Windows. But
Yeah. The more I work with Windows, the more I like Apple. I can
Yeah,
tell
no,
you that much.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this
Where it
is
seems
why.
to be like the opposite with phones. The more you're on an Apple phone, at least for me now.
Oh no, I'm the opposite personally. I was on Android for a while and I like the customizability and all that shit, but You know what's nice is being able to turn on your phone and just have it work. And
That's the Todd Howard quote. It
and
just
that's
works.
that's why I.
didn't say that this
super happy
year.
with my iPhone.
Oh no, we'll get to Bethesda. Don't worry.
That's
We'll get to Bethesda and all their lies.
that's what's next, isn't it? Was that after Xbox?
yeah. No,
So
no.
So that was
So
really
it's
about
pretty
it for
good.
Xbox.
yeah. And then Devolver was at Bethesda.
They showed off Flight Simulator. Ooh,
That looks good.
Battletoads.
Looks
There's
really
a new
good.
Battletoads
New
coming out.
Battletoads. I don't even know what year it is.
Hand-drawn graphics.
Oh,
in
so kind of like
4K.
Cuphead.
Not
yeah,
like
but
that.
it's not going
Well,
for the
It,
retro.
it looks more like
old-timey
a
aesthetic.
cartoon, like a cartoon.
Yeah, it looks like
Network
a
cartoon.
like a
Think
90s
about
cartoon.
90s time.
Is that not what Cuphead was?
No, Cuphead
No,
is
Cuphead
more
was like a
30s,
50s or
40s.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
even
okay,
older,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but
Oh
really,
no, they showed off Minecraft Diablo.
Oh yeah,
or
they showed off
Minecraft
a new
Dungeons.
Minecraft
the
game
game
called
that got
Minecraft
the
Dungeons,
least, the worst reception.
and it looks like it's basically it plays like Diablo.
Yeah. Okay. I saw some memes.
But what was funny about it was after it showed the trailer, it panned out to the audience, and it was just total silence. And then it just played the next trailer for whatever the next game. There was not a single clap in the room.
like-
But why?
It was very strange,
I don't know,
very
but
awkward.
It definitely was not the most disappointing game. The most disappointing game is over at Bethesda.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it. So the big thing for Xbox was, hey, next console holiday 2020 and Halo Infinite holiday 2020.
And no gameplay.
And no gameplay.
They showed
So-
off some gameplay for
Yeah,
Gears
and then
5.
but most of the games they really showed off, that were like things we already
Thank
knew
you,
about,
Jessica.
which were like Ori, Halo, Gears,
Yeah.
Forza just got DLC.
Yeah.
Forza.
Yeah, Forza had some Lego DLC. Oh, and of course, the big thing with Xbox, Cyberpunk 2077 featuring Keanu Reeves.
I did.
So that was the
I was
big
up to date on that one.
celebrity spot surprise. Oh my God, Keanu Reeves! And what was funny, there was a part where he walks out on stage and he talks about how the game is breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
And the guy in the audience goes, "You're breathtaking," and he
No,
goes,
yeah,
"You're breathtaking."
You're all breathtaking.
Now, funny enough, that guy who yelled to Keanu, "You're breathtaking," he's getting a free collector's edition of the
Cyberpunk.
game.
Well, that's a brilliant investment.
Yeah.
'cause
So
He turned that entire game into a meme. That's the best kind
Yeah.
of marketing you can get.
yeah, absolutely. So
And Keanu Reeves is like, Cyberpunk.
yeah. So that,
So-
we'll see how that game goes. We still haven't seen gameplay for it. So
No, we have. There was an old video of gameplay, and then the trailer that shows the release date has gameplay.
Well, yeah, most of the things that there is gameplay out there, but it's all being closed doors.
right, it's
Like
the official
on the show
actual.
floor,
Like, I want to see.
like what's it called? If you were there on the show floor, like it was all up to the media. You can't go in
Yeah.
there or anything.
So
It's like a small booth they had and everything. You had to go in, but
all right. So
it was like
moving-
50 minutes of gameplay too.
Wow.
And then one of the things that people were saying is just how like little loading it had with all the details it has.
Yeah, Alana Pierce was saying that she's like there was no loading in it,
Yeah.
which is cool. That's awesome.
But
Loading screens don't exist in 2077. Didn't you know? So it's just trying to keep in with the aesthetic.
it's because of that SSD solid
That's
state
it's
drive.
that SSD technology. It's incredible. Anyway, moving on. We've got Bethesda, who was after Xbox. That was Monday evening. Or I'm sorry, Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Um,
NPCs coming to Fallout 76.
Todd Howard came out. He didn't apologize for anything. He was just like, "Hey, everyone loves Fallout 76."
He straight up just lied. It's like, we thank you for keeping with the game still.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we've got so many active players. We've got a great community. Just all this good stuff."
And then
And-
what was the Pete Hines, the producer? Pete Hines, is that his name?
I don't remember. There was one guy that came out named Matt Booty.
Yeah, Matt Booty.
Matt Booty.
Oh yeah.
No, but they
Booty,
straight
booty,
up just
booty.
lied. They're like, yeah, we created the first person shooter genre with Doom. Like, no, it did that. id Software did that.
Yeah, I'm
not
like,
Bethesda.
y'all took credit for. I thought that was kind of lame that they were taking credit for that. I'm like, y'all didn't do anything.
But they showed
y'all
off
weren't there.
They showed off Commander Keen, which it's as a cell phone game now.
Yes.
No kid is gonna know what Commander Keen is.
Yeah, no.
that
that's-
is an
it's
old
it's like an
90s
80s,
property,
90s PC game, I think.
like early
Very
Bethesda.
obscure.
I've never heard of it. So.
Right? Yeah. No.
And the
it's
thing is,
very
Commander
obscure.
Keen is like the either nephew or grandson of B.J. Blazkowicz.
Who?
And then B.J. Blazkowicz, the main character of Wolfenstein.
Oh. Okay.
But also, Commander Keen is the father of Doom Guy. And then this new game is the kids of Commander Keen,
That's
which means either the little boy or the little girl is Doom Guy.
I don't know. You
I'm
think
gonna have to borrow some of that vodka.
you're thinking too hard.
No, but this is
You're
like
welcome to it.
actual canon.
Well, okay, if you say
It's
so.
lemon flavored if you're cool with that.
But
This week's episode of the Ultimate Gaming Podcast, whose name I forget, brought to you by Citroen Svetka. If you see me at a con with a water bottle, there's Svetka in it.
it's great water, strong water.
Yeah.
Um,
It reminds me of high school.
okay then. So
Wait, what?
yeah, so Bethesda really the only thing Bethesda had going for it was Doom Eternal, which looks very fun.
That's
It's
basically
Doom.
the main thing from the conference.
And that was the only thing at Bethesda worth.
Nakamura.
Oh, and then they showed off. Was that the one that showed off xCloud? Project xCloud?
They showed off the xCloud, but no, Nakamura showed off the Tokyo game.
Ghostwire.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if
Yeah,
you've seen
Ghostwire
like the
Tokyo.
cute Japanese girl that everyone's fallen in love with. The internet fell in love with
because
at
she was
E3.
like literally the
she
one
was
person.
very just bubbly and like
she
Ah.
didn't look like she was like a corporate person.
she
looked like
wasn't a
she
guy
was
in a
herself.
suit coming out and being like our game's the best.
Yeah,
Wait,
was
is she
just
a
like-
real person or an anime
No,
person?
she's a real person.
Okay, I have
She-
not
she-
seen her.
she
But
was-
she was very animated.
She's
That
a
was
Japanese
okay.
developer who's just very bubbly and friendly and excited.
Okay, I was totally
And she
picturing
comes out
like,
and she's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, my English isn't good."
Oh,
so,
that's cute.
and like, it was very and everyone's like, "Yeah,"
And she worked her way up. She started off as an
Who's
artist
the
on
3D
Okami.
projection
and she's like,
artist?
Oh,
she's like, "We're working on a
Hatsune Miku?
game."
Say it again?
Hatsune Miku.
Yes. That's what I was picturing in my mind.
No,
That's
not
who
her.
I thought you guys were talking
If I show
about.
you your picture, you might be like, "Oh yeah, I saw her." But she was like, "We're working on a game that's spooky." Like that's what she's
jeez.
like she was very like animated and cute and friendly. So everyone fell in love with her. And they're working on a new game, Ghostwire.
Ghostwire
called?
Tokyo.
The
Ghostwire
Thanos
Tokyo.
snap with
We don't really
Hawkeye.
didn't see gameplay, but again, it looks interesting. New concept, new IP.
But the main thing, and they talked about a lot of Fallout stuff that we don't care about.
Fall-
They're
oh,
trying to-
Battle
they're just trying
Royale.
to add a bunch of free
Battle
stuff.
Royale is coming to Fallout 76.
NPCs coming to
No, I
Fallout
haven't played
76.
Fallout 76,
Also,
but I've
it-
played a few of the other Fallout games. Battle Royale does not sound like the game mode that is.
It's
fitting
like,
for that
oh,
game.
there's a
No.
vault that's open and it needs a ruler.
So
How
you-
do we pick the ruler? Let's just all get in the arena and last one standing is the ruler.
So
of
you know
this
how
vault.
Battle
Of
Royale
this now
games
empty vault.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if you're gonna kill everybody, then what's the point?
So you know how Battle Royale games are usually 100 people?
it's 50,
It's 56,
56 or
54,
something. It was a
52.
very weird number.
52.
52.
Huh.
It was a very small number compared to most others. Yeah,
Wonder why?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
because that's how many players they have active.
Yeah, that's all.
The rest of
people
them have
left.
quit or been banned because they actually played the game.
Pretty good.
Thank you,
Also, it's
Jessica.
free to play for the week,
Like,
Oh yeah, they made it free to play for the week, which
but it'll take you all week to download it.
probably
Yeah.
and then take you 2 seconds for it to uninstall
2 seconds
itself.
to uninstall. That's right.
Like
Yeah.
I rented it once
convenient.
back when it came out. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy. I'm just gonna rent it.
You
It took
rented a
me-
video game?
Yeah,
In
no,
2019?
from Redbox, and pretty much
You can
I
do
didn't
that
e- I didn't
still?
even
And
know
from
Redbox
Redbox?
rented video games.
Yeah,
I
no, no.
thought-
What I did though, but most
you
like
go down
I
to
spent-
Blockbuster
I
and-
spent
oh, wait.
the entire
Hey, I
time
used
of
to, before they went out, I used to do Blockbuster before I went to GameFly.
because like they give you
Yeah.
2
Yeah, I did
days,
Gamefly for a
like
while.
for the first rental. It took all 2 days for it to install.
Is GameFly still alive?
And that was not a download?
It was a disc
It took
Wait.
you 2 days to install the
because it was 100 gigs.
Because it was what?
100 gigs.
That's still a lot.
Compression, people.
It still doesn't take me that long.
It's only a 5400 RPM drive.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
they
I
had to
don't
like
know.
constantly update the game. It's like, all right, so here's actually the game now. Here's
Oh, so
an
you had
update,
to download 100 gigs worth of updates.
which is the game.
Okay.
Remember when
Still
you could
compression, but
buy a game and slap it in your console and you hit the power button and this magical thing happened?
That
right?
was
Oh, yeah,
that
the
was last
game
gen.
booted.
That's actually something.
Y'all remember those days?
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
a
for
simpler
sure.
time.
We
She's like,
had
oh,
a we had a
God,
conversation-
it was so easy.
like probably say like a month ago. I had a conversation with Daniel and Valdemar, how I was saying on how like I really dislike DLC
Yeah.
because it kind of gives leeway to these companies to like half-ass their game and then like put in like because the main point of argument is how we're talking about Spider-Man, how they had the DLC
Mm.
that came out literally just a little bit afterwards and it was done just like 2 or 3 months afterwards where it could have easily be just been put in the game.
was that the not Black Widow, Black Cat
Yeah,
DLC?
yeah, Black Cat
Okay.
DLC. Yeah, and then nothing wrong with the game. The game's awesome, but it's something that could have been put with the game. And I was arguing how like, you remember back in the day when you never had to worry that you didn't buy a complete product,
Yeah.
or something that could have just been in there.
And I did see a thing today for the new Wolfenstein. Their little advertisement. Don't believe the Nazi propaganda. There are no microtransactions. You
No,
can,
that's a lie.
there's nothing to pay for in the game.
That's a fucking lie.
That's the Nazi propaganda. You fell for it.
No, but that's the Nazi propaganda.
That's how they get you.
What's
There-
the
there is
anti-Nazi
microtransactions.
propaganda?
In the new Wolfenstein?
What am I
Yeah.
saying?
They literally made a post today that was like, "Oh, don't believe the Nazi propaganda. There's nothing you can buy with real money in this game."
I don't believe that.
That's-
What if
Bethesda.
that's the Nazi propaganda?
Yeah.
That's what they want you to believe.
That's the
That's
thing.
I
Yeah.
don't
Bethesda.
know anymore. Fake news.
I don't know
It's a
what to
double
believe.
whammy.
Keep track.
Bethesda is like EA light. Like EA is fucking god awful. Bethesda is almost at
Here,
that
let me see
point.
if I can find it real quick. You cannot purchase weapon or ability upgrades with real money in Wolfenstein Youngblood. As you play, you will collect in-game currency called silver to upgrade your equipment.
Yeah, but you
Silver
know-
cannot be purchased with gold bars.
I bet you they are gonna have it where you have to buy the silver with real money.
I don't know.
I kind of disagree based on that status, but I do feel like they're still going to sell DLC that you have to pay for.
I'm sure
with
they
money.
will. I'm sure they will, but we'll see. But
And then they also showed off Doom Eternal Collectors where you have a wearable helmet. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
not gonna be.
that's kind of cool.
I'm
Yeah,
sure you
that's
probably
one.
won't
That's
be
one of the
able
things
to,
that
though.
I'm like very close to pre-ordering.
I hate it when games ship
Don't
like
pre-order.
they're like,
Buy it
oh.
on day one. Don't pre-order.
like, oh, it's a helmet.
Oh no, I
See, that's the problem with
Oh,
collector's
okay. Well,
edition.
here's
Is you
okay.
can't.
okay, that's fair.
Whoa,
I'm guilty
okay,
of
well,
that, so
let's
I
get
won't
let's
give you
get to that.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Okay, so finish. So Bethesda, Doom Eternal, that was their biggest thing. All right, moving on. Up
Which
next-
I would say my favorite
Devolver.
part about it was actually the UI, how pretty it looks. It has
Yes.
color.
It's very simple.
No, not only that,
And
but
colorful.
it's very colorful. It's like
Yeah.
the light green,
It
like
stands out,
neon
it
with the
pops.
orange.
Yeah, good aesthetic.
As you're killing your demons.
So then, Devolver Digital, which is a conference I've never watched and really didn't know existed until this year because
It
no one
has
ever
a
talks
plot
about it.
line.
Oh my god.
But it's actually like the best conference to watch because they know they're small and Devolver's are they a publisher and are they a developer or just a publisher?
Publisher and
publisher.
developer.
Yeah, they started as a developer, but then they eventually.
So they're a very small developer and publisher.
And it wasn't like a
um,
big conference either because they only showed up like 3-4 games.
And because they know they're small and not all the eyes are on them, they don't take themselves seriously at all with these conferences.
yeah.
I like that.
Their entire thing this year, and there's actually a lore to their conferences over the years. So if you watch each year, there's like a story that
All
is
right, that's pretty
unfolding.
cool.
Well, basically this year, I guess the lore setup was like their CEO became like an artificial intelligence, and so
Yeah, she was like put into a coma.
the direct was like in her mind. But basically, the entire style of the conference was like a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
It was
because
literally
last year
spoofed.
she was almost killed.
Like if you go watch a Nintendo Direct and you watch this, it was like identical.
And they had my
Look
lesbian OTP.
Who's your lesbian OTP?
The developer. And then there's this little scientist girl, so the developer like rips somebody's heart out and gets blood all over her or whatever. And then the little scientist girl comes up, puts on a stepladder, and like just licks it off. Like really quick, like one little tongue thing, and then leaves.
This is way more
so
story-driven
cute.
than I was expecting.
No,
out of it.
it's kind of wild and funny and goofy, and I love it.
And then she comes back to try and save the developer at the end. So cute.
yeah, and it becomes basically by the end, it's
Terminator.
Terminator.
I
Which
love
I
it.
feel like
It's
they might have
become-
added that on afterwards because like Terminator's showing up in everything.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Terminator showed up in 2 different games at E3. One of them is the Gears 5. If you was it a pre-order? If you
Pre-order.
pre-order, there's a Terminator skin you can get.
Okay.
And then there was another game that had Terminator show
It was a
up as
Tom
well.
Clancy game.
Tom Clancy or something. So Terminator.
Tom Clancy's still making video games.
Terminator.
Even though
He died. What do you know?
I was gonna say, didn't he die a few years
Yes,
ago?
he did.
Yeah, the
Um,
ghost of Tom
but the
Clancy.
name lives on. So yeah, Devolver is a cute small thing. Definitely go watch it if you haven't.
They showed off
and
my
that was
friend Pedro. They showed off a reverse
the Messenger DLC,
reverse horror game where you are the alien/monster killing people.
and you're killed. Yeah, you're the.
Wasn't
Honestly, what a goal.
like you're the thing.
Yeah, wasn't the Alien game kind of no? Was it the Alien game? I feel like there was another game recently where you were the bad guy.
Destroy All Humans remake.
Destroy all humans. Yeah.
No,
That's getting
You're in
remade.
a UFO and you blow everything up.
no, it wasn't.
Alien versus
I don't know
Predator?
what I'm talking about. I got nothing out to this.
Joey will text me at 3 a.m. and be like, "I found it. It's
That-
this
Mark
one.
Zuckerberg.
That'll probably
Got
be
it
what
right
happens.
here." So yeah, that's Devolver. Definitely go check it out if you haven't. So that was all Sunday night. Going into Monday. Monday was rough. It started rough, I should say. 4 o'clock
Really?
here
Sunday?
Eastern time. We got Ubisoft, and to put things into perspective for you,
They showed her one game.
they announced a TV show at their game conference.
What was the TV
Well, I
show?
can't even imagine what show Ubisoft.
It's
would
called
announce.
Mythic Quest. It stars what's his name? Charlie Day.
The dude
The
from
guy from It's Always Sunny.
Oh Oh, okay.
Okay,
That. I
yeah,
thought they were
yeah.
working on a game with them or
No,
something.
no. It's a show
About
about
a
a fictional game
that-
that this team of developers are. It's like the #1 MMO in the world, but it's a fictional game
Oh, okay.
Okay.
called. And it basically follows them.
Who's writing it though?
I believe it's Charlie Day,
Oh,
and
okay. So
but
that could be
but
good
but
then.
it is an Apple TV exclusive.
That's fine.
Do
You
you
know
have
what
an
else?
Apple TV?
What?
No.
Does
but-
anyone in this room?
But you know
Yeah,
what?
You probably do. I was gonna say you probably do.
You know what?
I
You probably
do.
watch it on Cody.
Don't say that on the podcast.
That's illegal.
Yeah, but
Introduce or
I love
just put
App-
that meme.
I love
there.
Apple, and I don't have an Apple TV. Like no one has an Apple TV.
No, we.
Sweet. Can we borrow one so we can watch?
I actually no. Actually, we have one at work. We just retired, which we replaced with the new Apple TV, which is awesome. And the reason it's awesome is probably the lamest reason to think something's awesome, is the screensavers are just HD videos from a helicopter over like cityscapes. So we just leave it on the TV in the conference room because it looks cool.
Oh my god, yeah. When I had my surgery done, that's what my surgeon had.
You just watched.
And I just watched it for a
It's
whole
it's kind
hour.
of nice. You just like here's a helicopter shot of Dubai or
Oh, nice.
So-
LA or whatever. It's
So the
cool.
problem with Ubisoft's conference was they opened with their biggest thing. So it started off pretty good, and then it was just all downhill from there.
No, I just want to make it clear here. Their biggest thing was a TV show.
No.
Okay, I was like-
But I'm just saying.
Well, we're just saying how
tell you
bad
how
this
it all
was.
went, and the number of games they had. They announced a TV
Assassin's
show.
Creed.
No,
There was
Watch
no
Dogs
Assassin's Creed.
Legion. So that was their biggest thing.
That was
Did
the only
Watch Dogs
real
ever
thing they
become
showed
good?
off.
Apparently, it might be good with this third one.
I don't know.
Okay, so but the second one wasn't good.
So here's the really cool
First
concept
one.
with the third one is basically they've given every NPC a unique ability and attitude and attribute, and you can recruit them.
okay.
And so what happens is you have your character, say you're a random guy and you're trying to hack and you're the resistance against the man, I guess. That's sort of the plot here going on. Basically, say you're doing your thing, you get busted, you get gunned down. That guy is now gone forever.
'Cause he's dead.
You've lost
Okay.
that character. But whatever NPCs you have recruited, you can now play as.
Oh.
So you can pretty much recruit anyone and everyone in this game who's
So
an
if
NPC.
you want, you can actually just start killing off all of Britain by yourself on accident, because everyone just decides to go stupid.
Yeah.
You could just be like, all right, everyone's just going retarded now.
But that's the thing is you can recruit any NPC and they become added to your roster. But then once you
Alright.
lose your character and that character dies, they're gone, and then you have to pick one of the people you've recruited. And
It's kind of interesting because some characters actually are like clumsier or they're more
like they showed off,
they care less, so they're more likely to be killed.
like in the demo. In the demo, they actually show off you can play as an old woman.
Who
Oh
is
my
a
God.
It's
retired
like, oh, you're
assassin.
never gonna
She's the
suspect. Yeah,
best.
she's a former assassin. But it's like, oh, you never suspect sweet old granny and she has like a taser in one hand, and then she like shoots the guy with.
Oh my
I'd
god,
play
her
that.
little spider.
And she's like
I love-
climbing over the rail really slowly, and she has like a little spider drone she
I
can
love
send
it.
in.
Yeah, so-
Spider Bro.
So this also takes place in a fictional future Britain where it's
Really,
post-
this wasn't a factual future.
Yeah. Well, no. What I'm saying it's post
a
Brexit.
factual Brexit. Yeah.
It's after Brexit. So
Okay.
like Brexit succeeds.
So they actually managed to get something
to get
together.
out. Yeah.
They left, and then that was it. They just didn't know it. They were
And
like,
now
I didn't
it's
think
all
we'd
like
get this far.
punk and everything.
Yeah. So that's sort of the big selling point, and the big idea behind this one is you can play as anybody, and everybody is special and unique, and they have all their own little abilities and specialties. So.
And then the next biggest thing was the dog.
Oh yeah. So I forget his name.
The holy trinity of this year's E3: Keanu Reeves, Nakamura, and then the
Keanu
dog.
Reeves, the cute girl,
Oh, the dog.
and the dog.
the
who-
Punisher's dog.
Was this a real dog?
Yes,
Yes,
it was a
it
real
was-
dog.
it
So the
was the Punisher's
Punisher,
dog.
what's his name?
John something.
The guy from the Netflix show?
Yeah,
Yes.
John
Yeah.
Stamos.
So
John
he's
Lithgow.
part of a new
John Stamos.
Not John
is the
Stamos.
Punisher.
not Full House's John Stamos, different John. But basically,
Lil John.
he's now part of a
John
new
Tron.
Ghost Recon game.
Johnny
and-
Bravo.
Thank you, Thomas. And so he comes out on stage and he brought his dog with him, and
John
so everyone was like,
Oliver.
"Oh, dog!" Thank you, Thomas. And so everyone's like, oh, "Okay, so that's the holy trinity: it's Keanu Reeves, the cute Japanese girl, and a dog."
Okay.
That's the holy trinity of E3. That's all you need to know about E3 this year.
I'll write that down.
Write that down.
That's not all you need to know.
Not quite. We're getting to the good stuff.
We're not.
So yeah, so Ubisoft really, they opened with Watch Dogs. That was great. Everything else was downhill. Just so you know, in 2019 there is a game coming to the Wii.
Just Dance 20.
Just Dance 2019 or 2020 actually.
Wow.
Because
they
people
still
play
produce
it.
that game for the Wii because it's still that popular.
Well, also for hospitals apparently.
Right. So a lot of medical facilities, healthcare facilities will
that
use the
makes
Wii,
sense. Okay.
and so they still produce Just Dance for the Wii, and you can. In
Alright.
2019, there is a new game coming out for the Wii. They've done this for the past couple of years now, so or I guess every year really.
Yeah.
Since, but
Interesting.
but that was about it for Ubisoft. No Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a big thing they should have. They didn't show any of that. No new Rayman. No new Assassin's Creed. That was all absent this year. So it was hard to get through. Like we were just sitting there, just like let it end. 'Cause we were.
Did you guys
done.
all get together and like watch
Yeah,
it every
yeah.
night?
That
Like-
picture I put with the banner.
I saw the one
That's
picture,
where we
yeah,
watched.
that was-
we
that was
watched.
cute. I
We
like
watched Ubisoft and Square that night.
Well, mostly everyone.
Get a car. But
No mention that I wasn't there.
well, I invited you.
You did.
I did.
I think you even invited me on the podcast. So
I did. I invited you on camera.
There
You
is
didn't.
video evidence.
There's video evidence I invited you. But no, it was fun. It was great. I love watching E3 with the gang. But it was hard to get through Ubisoft. We were all just sitting there like, let it end. So after Ubisoft, we had like a 3-4 hour gap. We played some games, hung out, ate food, whatever. And then 9 p.m. Was it 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Monday night?
9 p.m. Yeah.
That's past
9
my
p.m.
bedtime.
Monday. Ian's ready for this one. Square Enix saved E3 because Xbox was okay, Bethesda was Ubisoft was disappointing. Someone's got to come in and save the day. Here comes Square Enix, and the first thing they show off. What
Life
was
is Strange Season 2.
not quite. What was it, Ian?
Final Fantasy VII goddamn remake.
Final Fantasy VII remake, and you'll never guess what they showed off. They showed off gameplay.
And not only that, they walked you through it.
Yeah,
They
so
told you exactly
they
what's
showed
going
off a
on.
bunch of gameplay. They showed off actually the first boss of the game, which in the original is like a
Very simplistic.
3 to 5 minute fight. In this, it took like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and not only that, and,
was
and then
cut
like
for
different
time.
stages and everything.
No, is it turn-based or?
No, it is now.
You can do
well,
turn-based if you want.
I am
Right.
interested because
Its new default is
the.
a la Final Fantasy 15.
I was gonna say,
but
'cause
not
the
quite
first
the
Final
No,
Fantasy
think
game I
Kingdom
ever
Hearts
played.
2. Think Kingdom Hearts 2, and
I
then
never
there.
played Kingdom Hearts 2.
All right, with the action, so like because they got the people who worked on the gameplay for Kingdom Hearts 2. It's simple action, and then when you want to do magic or abilities, then it turns turn-based.
So basically, when you want to do a more complex command, it kind of enters this slow motion thing where time kind
Okay.
of stops, and then you can go through the menu and say, "I want to do this thing," and it'll do it. But for the most part, your
want-
small
you want me to take
action
care of
to
it?
action.
Okay, because Final Fantasy first.
I'm waiting for you to jump in.
Oh, no, okay.
I mean,
Okay, so here's how it works.
Okay.
So pretty much, and in Final Fantasy VII,
Okay.
there's on the square, you pretty much do regular attacks. So pretty much you can do just regular like combinations, and it kind of works like a fighting game where if you time it correctly, so you could do like square, give it like a few seconds, and then square again. Cloud would do like a different move, so you can like mix and match what you do with the game in terms of just like combat. So you can do like square, hold square, and then do it different. It's cool, but pretty much that's how it goes in that. So the ATB, there's 2 bars. You fill it up, and that's what you use your pretty much your mana for in terms of using your like abilities like fire, thunder, whatever you want. And then when you fill up completely, that's when you can use your limit gauge, and you can use something like cross slash or whatever you want. And the cool thing is, like, whenever you defend and you actually block, there's 3 stages of blocking. So you would see Cloud going like this when he goes for a light attack.
Sorry,
when he gets
would
hit.
you like me to like pull out a chalkboard?
I'm not fucking done.
For you real
Okay,
quick?
so he like you get hit once, and then if he gets hit again, he gets kind of get hit back. So it actually works like a little physics system. So pretty much whenever he gets hit, you get knocked back. So like if you were to get hit by like a boss with like a big ass attack, like he would actually stagger, and then you would have to like. So there's one part where in the boss when you're fighting the scorpion that he would actually like stomp on you, and bring you down. And if you like stay on it, the Cloud will actually get stomped on and then Barret. You have to switch to Barret to save Cloud's ass, because if not, he dies because it breaks. It's like a shield breaker, so he can't go up with that.
Hunter is trying to make everyone leave while
I
my
explained
boyfriend speaks about
so
Final
much.
Fantasy.
But yeah,
Dick.
But yeah, so pretty much you can mix and match and switch your characters whenever you like, and they all play differently. So like Clouds, you're basically like warrior, and then your range attackers, of course, is going to be like
Vincent.
he's not part of the game yet. But Barret, what? That's probably
Yo, you got some
expired
fucking
old.
tasty cakes.
I don't know. When I went to
I'm
the
pretty sure
fridge
your
to
colon's
get
gonna stop working if you eat that.
I
when I
found
went to the
donuts.
fridge to get ice, there was ice cream in there that expired in January of 2018. So
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's
Actually-
okay. It's frozen.
I ate tuna that had expired 6 months prior, like 2 days ago.
But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna stop there because if not, I'm literally gonna be here for an hour, just
So stay
talking about the
tuned for the
gameplay.
bonus episode after this week's podcast, which is Ian talking about Final Fantasy
Which you
VII.
can only find on
I'm a patron.
patreon.com/VGX7.
No, I'm
Yeah.
officially a
And
patron.
Joey is a patron. He's our first real big
I would
patron.
literally. Okay, so if you,
Well,
if,
I was first.
you know what we could
But
do
you
that.
backed out. You don't count.
Yeah.
But I could do that, but just be by my
I'd
like a
feel
close up
too
and just be
guilty if I backed
ASMR of
out.
me going through the whole gameplay.
Oh, I'll do
Final Fantasy VII.
ASMR Final Fantasy 7.
So yeah, Cloud swings his sword,
Ian walkthrough.
and then.
But yeah,
and
okay, so
Barret
pretty much-
decides to
Okay,
shoot
real
people.
talk,
the game-
Thomas. How long did you have that mic off?
Oh, for like a couple seconds.
Okay.
And not that
Okay.
long. I was just slowly turning it down the more he kept.
But yeah,
talking.
the best part about was about we went through the whole thing, we watched everything, and then came to the part to where I already told the guys even before the conference started is they're gonna announce a collector's edition. I don't care whose phone it is or anything. Everybody have the Square Enix
You
store
want
loaded
to talk?
up.
You want to talk about bad timing? This is what happened. Okay, so they show off the gameplay. We're all hype. We're all excited. We're like, this is the game of E3. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we waited for. They're like, here's the main game. Here's a deluxe edition, which is a few $20 more, and then that was enough for him to just take his wallet and throw it. The problem is he hit the HDMI cable on the laptop and knocked it out. So the
Oh,
screen
no.
went black. In that moment where the screen was black, they showed off the $329 collector's edition, which he really wanted to see. And by the time we got the cable plugged back in, we had missed it. So he had pre-ordered it without even seeing what it came with.
And then I saw what it came with. I'm like, all right.
And then once he saw it came with, he was like, "Oh, okay, no, I made a good decision."
I mean, I've made worse decisions
but
in my life.
he spent
under pressure,
$330
so.
what's knowing what. I mean, it could have been a pile of poop when someone just.
So what's it
etched the
come
word
with?
cloud in.
What's $330
it
get you?
comes with
So
a-
really, the deluxe edition and the collector's edition only have one difference, and it's a $250 difference, which is
That's a pretty big difference.
which is a very nice figure of Cloud on his bike,
yeah, and it's already going on eBay for like $600 and $900 for no.
and
fucking
it's
reason.
not even
Wow.
sold out yet. You can still go if you don't be dumb and go to
Well,
eBay.
maybe. Well, I have to check. but-
Last
Where
I
can buy this?
Last I checked, if you go to the Square Enix store and look at pre-orders, last I checked, you can still pre-order
So
the Final
how do you
Fantasy
go
VII
about
collector's
selling your pre-order?
edition. You buy it yourself first.
Well, first.
Well, I mean, people are already selling it on eBay.
Oh well,
though,
what
that's
you
the
can
thing.
do then, what people
So
do?
would I just like change the shipping address?
yes, what people
Oh,
do is
okay.
they just change.
All
the
right,
shipping
I'm
address.
very confused.
I
And
might
maybe
do
we already
that.
talked about this, and I'm just dumb.
You
Yeah.
make like $600,
I went to the Square
$700
Enix
off of
website, and all I
$350.
see is Marvel Avengers.
Those dummies. Oh yeah, she's looking at it. Let me see.
Yeah, that's the first thing you
Oh,
see.
that
is
that is
Marvel's
that is the
Avengers.
landing. Oh, there it is right here. Final Fantasy VII remake. All right, you can click.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't look right. It was just I wasn't
and
expecting Marvel.
then buy the game.
All right, well, here we'll see.
And
and
you-
then
you'll see it.
There should be.
Is it first class edition?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
For 329.
It doesn't have a price yet. But I see Cloud
Well,
on
we'll
light.
click
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
that's
and-
my
yeah.
husband.
Yes,
Well-
329. What the fuck's wrong with your phone?
He just doesn't know where he's
I just
looking.
got distracted by the
he's-
Avengers.
But no, okay, you still can pre-order. It is still there. So
Okay, and you promised me this is somewhat like Final Fantasy 15.
No,
No,
it's
no, it's
better
very
because
much.
15's
Combat-wise,
sucks.
it-
Did you not hear what I was going through?
it was hard.
There was a lot to take in.
Who are
okay?
you?
There is.
No, but I will send you the gameplay link later. You can look at it yourself.
Well, no, I'm about to buy this shit now.
you,
Well,
you
you know
didn't
how
even see it.
you
and
know
you're
how
like, I don't know what
Hey.
it is.
Well, I
Joey.
pre-ordered it without even knowing anything.
yeah.
All I knew was the price. I was like,
I don't want a turn-based game.
Yeah, it's
I
not
want
turn-based.
something that
Oh,
feels
and
like
they
Final
also
Fantasy
announced
15.
It feels
also
enough like Final
announced
Fantasy 15.
No, it's better.
watches, Final
Sure,
Fantasy 7
great.
watches, and they're $2,500.
Yeah, you want to follow?
Okay.
You want to
Yeah,
cloud
no,
watch?
I was like, she was right next to me, and she's like, "Don't do it." I was just like,
Also,
I was
hi,
literally
I'm
that-
Hunter. I just beat Final Fantasy 7 for the first time last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only played Final Fantasy 15, so.
Huh?
But I
I'm so sorry.
loved Final Fantasy 15. I easily put 100 hours into it. So
We-
if
we-
Final Fantasy 7 has that same style of
And-
gameplay,
and
We
how
made
many-
a deal where I had a month to play it, and if I beat it within the month, he would pay me back for the game. So I essentially would get to experience the game for free.
And
Um,
did you?
I did. I beat it, and then that night we just went to IHOP, and he hadn't paid me yet, and I was just like, "Yo, cover these pancakes, and we're even."
Yo, how many fucking pancakes did you buy?
They were chocolate.
It was like $19.
It was like $8 worth of.
There.
Okay, that is not
Instead
a fair
of
trade.
I was like,
he
I'm
went
good.
for
Worst
it.
trade deal of all time.
No, it was worth
He
it
got to play the best
because
game
he
of all
got me.
time.
Yeah, he got me to play what is now one of
Okay.
my all-time favorite games, and it was
Okay, that's fair.
incredible, so.
You know, I went in with managed expectations because I've never really had an interest in Final Fantasy aside from the movie Advent Children, which I believe was Final Fantasy VII.
It was,
right?
yes.
But
Which is confusing to watch even if you play the game.
Which is actually my favorite movie of all time.
that
I'm just
quickly
bad.
became one of my favorite games as well. So
It's
I
the only movie I
understand.
own.
Okay,
Okay, so not worst trade deal of all time. That's actually
There
a
you
pretty
go.
fair trade.
this has been the worst trade deal.
Yeah, like when he sent it to me, I was like, he sent me the video of when he beat Sephiroth. I literally almost shed a tear. And then he's like, and I was like, so what do you think? He's like 5 out of 5, perfect. I'm like,
Wait.
As I was finishing the game, I like filmed it.
And you beat
like,
Sephiroth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing.
You don't beat the game if you don't beat Sephiroth. You're
Why
like-
am I not remembering Sephiroth being in this game?
What
He's
game did
the
you
main
play?
villain.
Final Fantasy 15, right?
Yeah,
No,
this
No, we're
nigga.
talking about 7,
7.
my guy. 7.
The main
We
villain
made a
of
deal with
15
Final
is
Fantasy
Arden.
7.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
talking
bought it
about
on
this guy.
Switch.
This guy kills
Okay.
this guy.
Okay, that I knew. I'm sitting here thinking about 15. I'm like,
You're like, was that a special boss? Was that like a hidden
I
thing?
don't
What?
remember Sephiroth being in that
He
game.
wasn't in
Because
15.
I've been a fan of Sephiroth forever. In fact, I have in my office. I have what was in Final Fantasy VII. Who was the like guy that turned into Sephiroth by
Sephiroth?
The guy who turned in
Oh, no,
Sephiroth.
we're
is-
talking about Advent Children.
Advent Children, the
Oh,
movie.
Kadaj.
Yes.
Kadaj.
But what was his name?
Kadaj.
Kadaj. Yes,
yeah.
I have Kadaj's sword at my office. The
Yeah.
dual blade. It doesn't separate. Did we?
We had this exact conversation.
Was it some deja vu?
No, we have not.
No, wait.
Not
I don't,
here.
I
Wait,
don't think
were
I've
you
had
at
We have not had this
Were
conversation.
you at KatsuCon?
No.
Because I got it for KatsuCon this year. So
Yeah, I
And I
I
don't-
don't recall this.
This
No,
did not
This
happen.
did not happen last week.
We talked about it at Applebee's.
No.
No, we
No, I
did
don't
not.
recall this.
I don't either.
I remember this exact conversation.
This never
This is not
happened.
really a thing I
think
talk
you-
about.
Joey's like, I don't talk about this to
Oh
many
my
people.
God.
There's a little bit of shame
we did
associated
talk,
with this.
we
I'll be
did talk
honest.
about his office, but we talked about the stash that he has beneath his desk.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
liquor.
we talked about.
No, we have it. As of last Friday, so it would have been after the podcast. Actually,
Yes.
We now have an official alcohol cabinet in my office.
Beautiful.
I'm psychic, by the way. That's what it
Apparently.
is.
That's okay.
She reads my mind and she's like, "You're always worthless."
God damn.
You'll never amount to anything, and I saw it in my.
I saw it in my head.
my visions.
You're worthless, just like this podcast. Anyway, so Square Enix Final Fantasy VII remake, knockoff
for watching
Marvel's
the show.
Avengers, looking strange.
Final Fantasy VIII remaster.
Final Fantasy VIII remaster, which
Saga games coming to the West.
yes,
I'm sorry, Romancing Saga. 'cause there's
Romancing
also
Saga. What else was Square? What else?
The Mana
Life
games,
is Strange.
the Mana Games collection, and then
No,
the,
that was
shown off at
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
That was shown in
same
Nintendo.
difference.
Same difference. They both saved E3. Can we talk about Nintendo now? Speaking of which,
Well, let's go over Avengers real quick.
you want to go over knockoff Avengers?
I thought we talked about Avengers. Or
Briefly.
more.
Just
Yeah,
I don't know. It
And from the closed doors demo at E3, it pretty much, well, from what I was seeing, is pretty much, it actually kind of looks like Spider-Man PS4, but with like the Avengers. And everyone was like, "Why did you not show this off?" Why?
I'm just making.
No, it's going. It's
I'm
going.
making sure he's checking.
Yeah, no, he's going.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it literally, like they were going. It's like it looks like Spider-Man PS4, but with Avengers.
Yeah.
characters. So and everybody's just like, "Why did you not show this?"
That sounds pretty good. I love.
But what's
Spider-Man.
interesting is just from what we've seen, this is supposed to be like a huge next big superhero video game.
I mean, shit. On the Square Enix website, it showed up before fucking Final Fantasy.
yeah,
VII,
which
so-
is very interesting, very controversial. Don't know what they're doing with there. But what's interesting is there's another Marvel game on the horizon, Ultimate Alliance 3, which is still a great looking game, but it's not supposed to be as big as this one. I'm already seeing people say Ultimate Alliance 3 looks like it's going to be more fun than what this next big game is going to be, which is like, ugh, that's not good. But I guess that's because that kind of does look more like the movie characters, right? I'm sorry, am I
Yeah.
boring everyone?
No, who
I'm
made
excited about Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you're gearing up for
Let's-
what's to come.
Yeah, let's go.
who made
Sorry, I just used all my energy for
Spider-Man for
FF7.
PS4. Who was the producer? or developer?
Insomniac. So the people
Okay.
behind.
They made Spyro, right?
Yes, originally, yes.
Originally.
Hey, have you guys played the remake of Spyro? I know
Yes.
I'm like,
No,
it's
yeah.
good.
I am the
It's
like
great.
dude, the slowpoke meme right now.
It's great.
Is it worth getting on the
Absolutely,
Switch?
absolutely.
Okay, because I love the Spyro games growing up. and-
The only here's the thing. The only bad thing is about all these remakes that come out is they make you not want to play the old ones.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
it makes
I
the
actually-
original harder to look
I have
at.
to say, I tried to replay the original Spyro like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was fucking awful. It wasn't that the game was bad; the controls were
Oh,
just
no, for sure.
so
No,
unmanageable.
it's like Crash. I can't go back to the original Crash. Resident Evil 2. I cannot go back. Okay, that one I can't go back to. That one's still good. But like
can still play
mostly the
Pokemon Red.
platformer ones, the one that involve like a lot of like movement, like it gets hindered by a PS1 that was originally made without the DualShock.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, the problem I always had was the camera controls. Is I felt like
Yeah.
it's wonky
just
and weird.
wherever
Yeah,
I was wanting to see, I just couldn't see, and it's weird because I never felt like that growing up playing the game. It was
right.
no,
It's
it
always
is-
when you go back, you're like,
Yeah, now I'm
what?
like,
I think it's more. I
How?
think
How did I
you're more just
manage?
adjusted to how games are now and how easier it
Yeah.
is. Before it was more of a task. Like we grew up with trying to move camera with an N64 controller.
Whew, then the
Or
C
the
button.
So-
So
C
we're-
buttons,
we're-
yeah.
we were like this, but we were
I
really.
dare,
going,
I,
we were
I dare
playing
anyone
this.
go back and try to play GoldenEye.
Do you guys remember what C stands for? Why it's the C button?
No, camera.
Camera. It's a
Camera
camera, button.
Yeah, that
At least
makes
that's what I
sense.
justified in my head when I was like 6.
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I guess ABC is also a logical
Yeah.
That too.
direction, but in my head I always thought.
Granted,
camera.
it used to be ABXY back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So I
so
guess there's maybe there really isn't a logical.
they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So why are the other two buttons X and Y?
I don't know.
Why not Y and Z? Well, I guess we have Z on the shoulder.
Now we have Z on the bottom. Well, yeah. So the N64 we had Z on the bottom and you had LR left and right.
Right. So when was Z introduced for the first time? Was it
The
the
N64.
Because that was the middle one.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
the one on the bottom.
But
yeah.
X and Y was on the SNES.
Yes, and it was the additional two
Yeah,
above
no,
A and B.
N64 still had A.
Why it wasn't C? Maybe the only thing I
Okay.
can figure is they didn't do C and D because Sega had already done that with the Genesis.
Oh, did that have C
at least
and D?
it had C
Well, I
because it
thought
had
the
A,
Super
B, C.
Nintendo had the
Oh,
R and L.
that's right. I
So they
remember
might
that,
have
yeah.
just done that to differentiate themselves. That may have been why.
I thought it was R and L on the Super Nintendo.
No, on the triggers, yes.
No,
But
there
they
was,
also had A, B, X, and Y as the. They had a
no,
4 button.
but the Super Nintendo only had the two button, the two on the top, and then the 4 face buttons. And
Yes.
Right, the 4 face
We're talking about
buttons
the
with
face
A,
buttons.
A, B, X, and Y.
The face buttons
Oh,
is
right,
A,
right,
B,
right,
X,
yeah,
Y.
A, B,
And the
X, Y.
Z was introduced with the N64.
N64.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as a natural progression of X, Y, Z.
Yeah, for the access.
But. Oh. X axis, Y axis, Z axis. But even that doesn't make sense because were the X and Y buttons ever for
The face
axis?
buttons they don't work. Use
But
the directional pad
maybe
for
that was
the.
the
Well, no,
basics,
because
eh?
X is over here, Y, or was it X was up here, Y was over here?
I don't
I'm trying to remember
remember.
what the
Well,
because
and
A.
And then if
B,
you introduce the Xbox, that's a whole different arrangement of
Can
A,
we
B, X,
talk
and
about
Y. and-
Nintendo?
Speaking of Nintendo,
Right, Nintendo. Sorry, I'm upset about button arrangements.
the ones who, in my opinion, have won this year's E3.
And you can see I'm supporting them by having a red solo
To be
cup.
fair, it was a very low race.
Jessica, too.
They had a very low bar to jump for the most part,
Except for Final.
except for Final Fantasy. But other than that, it was a very low bar to jump.
If it wasn't for FF7, like
Then
it-
Nintendo could have
it's
shown
un-
one
anonymous.
thing, and it would have okay, sure, you win. It opened up with what I thought was kind of weak. So it opened up with a new Smash character. It was the hero,
That was big in
which
Japan. though.
represents the protagonist of Dragon Quest.
But that was huge in Japan. That was like,
Right in
Okay,
Japan,
alright,
in
alright.
Japan, that's a big thing. Me personally, never played Dragon Quest, so for
No,
me,
yeah,
didn't care.
same. In fact, I could tell you nothing about Dragon Quest.
I-
I'm going to make an assumption.
I just know Toriyama's the artist, so every
it
character.
is a fighting game that's like The Witcher.
Nope, that is not Dragon Quest.
Dragon
I
Quest is the
literally
very
pulled that out of
first
my ass.
JRPG.
It's
I have nothing.
it's RPG.
Think
Same-
Final
okay.
Fantasy, but before Final Fantasy, with the art of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's the same artist as Dragon Ball.
That's cool. Not to go on a tangent here, but I'm going to go on a tangent. Did you guys ever watch Halo Legends? It
Yes.
was like
Yes.
the animated series, and each episode had different
A different
had
animation studio, yeah.
And one of them was the animator for Dragon Ball Z. So there was a Halo Legends episode that was Halo characters drawn like Dragon Ball Z characters.
What?
Like all of them.
You're dreaming. You're
I-
making that up.
Watch it on Netflix.
I don't believe
But
you.
yeah,
So
but
anyway,
like
back
the,
to-
like the
back to
Dragon Quest, like
Nintendo and
Dragon
their
Quest is
announcements.
like like kind of as big as Halo over
Yeah.
there in Japan.
Okay.
It's actually big.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like Japan. Like people take off work in Japan when the next Dragon
Like
Quest
whenever
drops.
you see like the
It's like
top
a
selling
holiday.
games in Japan, Dragon Quest is always in the top 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
a huge thing in Japan. So that's why that got it.
So
plus
it's a big announcement for Japan.
plus there is a new Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 11 is getting a port to the Switch coming out.
I feel like
this
Jessica
fall.
has something she really wants to say, and we should just let her say
It's
it.
at the end. We got to get to the end.
It's literally the last thing.
It's the last thing we have to talk about.
Luigi,
We're-
die for
We're not there yet. We're not there yet even.
Well, that is the next thing.
Well, first we got to get to. So this was the first time we actually see the new president of Nintendo, Nintendo America.
Bowser.
Reggie Fils-Aimé stepped down in
Oh
April.
yeah, I remember that.
So we
Why
now
did he
have.
step down? Was it a controversial thing, or he was
No,
just like
just retired. Just retired.
moving on in his
He's
life?
like, I've done this for like
my body isn't
15
ready anymore.
years. He's like, I've done this for 15 years. I'm done.
Yeah, his body was no longer.
His body.
ready.
He says his body's still ready for whatever.
But he had to go play.
He's ready
Animal
for retirement.
Crossing
His
on
body's ready for
3DS.
retirement.
Okay. All right.
So now Doug Bowser, and I can't think of a better named
Yeah.
man.
Wait, that's his actual.
his
Yes,
name
last
is
his
Doug
name.
Bowser.
He's
So what was
not-
interesting was,
Perfect. That would be like
so there's a
a
Japanese.
doctor with the last name Mario being.
Yeah, right.
president
So there's a
is.
Japanese employee of Nintendo who's been handling a lot of the directs. His name's Yoshiaki Koizumi. He's sort of been the direct host nowadays. And he goes, okay, there's someone I'd like you to meet. And then the character Bowser like taps on his shoulder, and he's like, and he puts on a tie, and he like starts like giving a speech.
Bowser does.
Yeah, the character Bowser, and it's all just like, like you can't understand anything he's saying. And then Doug Bowser comes. He's like, wait. There's been a mix-up. I'm the Bowser for this presentation. And then Bowser's like, and then they like send him away. And then it's like, hey everybody, I'm Doug Bowser. So this is the first time we've actually seen Doug Bowser,
Okay.
the new president of Nintendo of America, take. And it was a really cute segment. You should definitely watch it.
This is my life. He's watching me trying to say something.
I,
She's very excited. We're not there
feel
yet.
so
no,
bad.
I was even gonna say. I was gonna say that he has Mario and Luigi tied up.
Oh yeah, so when he first got the job, he took like a picture. He's like, hey everyone, thanks for all the warm welcome. I'm really happy to be here. And in the background was like a Mario and Luigi
And
plush,
they're
like tied up to a
with
chair.
GameCube controller.
that's adorable.
And he always has like Bowser Jr. with him, like that's like his son.
You
Like,
know what would've
Bowser
been great,
Jr.'s always
though?
in all of his pictures.
If in the direct he came out in a dress.
Why?
like
I
the Bowsette
understand
dress?
where you're
Yeah, to
coming
be like
from.
a Bowsette.
Oh no! Stop! No.
I get what you're saying, but
I get what you're saying.
Can
I'm
we
picking
move
up what
on
you're putting
to
down.
Luigi's Mansion?
Yes. So Luigi's Mansion
We're not
3.
there
Is this
yet.
what Jessica wanted to talk about?
No.
No.
Oh, so we're not there yet. All right. So Luigi's Mansion.
But Luigi's Mansion 3 looks really fun. They've done some additions to the gameplay mechanics. It just looks nice. Got new multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
Gooigi
I would
is
die for
a new
him.
character.
He has-
Luigi.
So he's literally
Luigi.
just a Luigi clone made out of goop.
And he can
Okay.
do different things than regular Luigi. Like he can.
Yeah.
turn
So like if
into
there's
slime
like a cell with bars, he can like slip through the bars.
God, Hunter.
And there's like spikes, he can walk through spikes. We'll get there. Do we need to talk about this
No,
now?
it's just
I-
every time I say something.
Just
Okay.
just-
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's not what.
We'll get there.
that's-
Everyone else gets it.
I can't-
Okay, so Luigi, I would die for him.
Yeah, if Luigi
like
touches
Luigi.
water, he dies. He gets
I would touch water and die for him.
he gets flushed away. I want to thank you all for watching this,
No.
this week's
I
episode.
swear to God.
Oh, sorry,
Jessica just wants to say something.
Jessica. Use your words.
Wow, that's what my ex-boyfriend used to say.
And here we are.
So Breath of the Wild 2 has been announced.
Okay, I guess we're doing this now.
What would you prefer to do, Hunter?
I wanted to go through it. No,
you
no,
know
no.
what? Go through it. Go through it.
No. We're gonna.
Speak your piece, woman.
All right, I'm gonna speak the piece. This should be cut out of the podcast.
No.
Did we actually edit the podcast?
No.
Maybe we should edit this part.
Keep going.
She just wanted to finish her sentence.
I was literally talking about Luigi. So what came after Luigi's Mansion?
There's a new Breath of the Wild is now confirmed in development. We are getting Breath of the Wild DOS, Breath of the Wild 2,
I'm so
Electric
excited.
Boogaloo.
No, has Zelda done a version 2 of a game before?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the closest thing would be Majora's Mask. That was a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time.
But it wasn't Ocarina of Time 2.
Not in an official capacity, but the game does take place
Also,
directly after.
There
Ocarina.
is
Okay.
the DS games for
Yeah,
Wind
Phantom
Waker
Hourglass and
and
Spirit
Spirit
Tracks, which aren't nearly as popular.
Get crunk.
But for the most part, the Zelda games are independent, or there's counterparts.
Ian's
It's
about to
funny
get
that you
crunk.
say something about Majora's Mask.
Did they announce something about
Going
Majora's
back
Mask?
to a long time ago in this conversation, a lot of people, because of its darker tone in the trailer, people think it's related to Majora's Mask, which, fun fact, is my favorite game. And I was sent an article that it's not, and I'm really upset
Turn
about
that
it.
down all
However,
the way.
you might be able to play as Zelda, short-haired Zelda, who's adorable, but they won't come forth and say if you can or can't. But they did say that it's not related to Majora's Mask.
Yeah. So we
Which is
didn't get
upsetting.
we didn't get any gameplay at all because it's probably still very early in development.
Similarly to how my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 15, and I was really late to the game. My first, I should say my second
I'll
Zelda
say
game
Skyward Sword.
was Breath of the Wild, with
Oh,
my
thank
first one
God.
being Twilight Princess.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God!
that's good.
Those
that's
are good.
Those are good.
Now, but I
Oh.
heard Skyward Sword was kind of explaining how all of the Zelda games
So
are in different
Skyward Sword
universes.
is the greatest. They built a fantastic game with terrible gameplay.
Oh my God, the game!
No,
I hate
Everything
motion
about
control.
the game is incredible.
This was specifically, I'm just
Except-
the storyline explanation of
Yes.
the different
Right,
So,
the
so
storyline's
they
really
basically
good.
were able to use that. They used the plot of Skyward Sword to justify every Zelda game. So essentially, Skyward Sword takes place first chronologically, and you fight basically Demise, who is sort of the root evil main bad guy, and
which
basically,
is what you see in this trailer.
right. So basically, as you fight him and as you kill him, he's just like, okay, well now we're just cursed to fight for all eternity in reincarnations. So that's how they justify endless Zeldas and endless
Links.
Ganondorfs and Links, and they're just
Okay.
all reincarnations of earlier versions.
Got
So that's sort of how this works. And so basically, all we see in the trailer, you see Link and Zelda going through the crypts under Hyrule Castle from Breath of the Wild, after Breath of the Wild. And there is a spoopy corpse that snaps its neck and the
It's
eyes
Ganon.
glow, and
It's
it's
Ganon.
Luigi.
Oh God.
And
It's Goop
there's
Ganon.
theory because very little details, official details are there. Everything at this point is speculation and theories. And
Oh my gosh.
some people believe it's Ganondorf.
It's Tom Nook.
There's that reoccurring
Oh,
hand
Tom Nook.
in all the games.
Yeah,
that
so-
they-
so a lot-
Master Hand. I'm familiar.
Master Hand. Yeah. A lot of people think it's Ganondorf. Some people think that it's. I think it
Right.
is.
Well,
It's Demise.
I don't know.
The hair and everything.
It's actually Putin.
It's Putin. Rootin' tootin' Putin.
Boon
Um,
on the
Have you
Ritz.
guys seen that video? And it's an old video, like older than the internet, where it's Putin on the Ritz.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's the pun on the song, and
Yes.
it's just a video of Putin on a Ritz cracker,
Yes.
just fucking
Mm-hmm.
rodeoing.
it's
Or,
Boon on
I don't
the
know what
Ritz.
you would describe
Yippee-ki-yay.
that. Yeah, it was. Anyway, that's just a great video, and you should all watch it if you
Hunter?
haven't seen it.
yeah.
Do you want your moment to shine?
Banjo?
Banjo.
Banjo?
I don't
Banjo.
know banjo.
Banjos in Smash! Yeah! Okay. So, Banjo Kazooie, one of my all time favorite games that Microsoft has treated very poorly. He hasn't had a game come out in 11 years. And the last one that did come out was a piece of crap. I'm sorry. Grant Kirkhope, I love you. It was still a great soundtrack. But it was a terrible game. I don't know if you've heard about Nuts and Bolts.
It wasn't that
Banjo Kazooie
bad.
Nuts and Bolts.
No, I.
So basically-
Ratchet and
Bad.
Clank.
No. You're in a totally different ballpark.
Okay.
But so Banjo
It's actually the
Kazooie,
best Banjo game.
Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, which is what they call it for Banjo Kazooie 2. They were N64 3D platformers, incredibly fun, very well made. Everyone loved them. 2002, Rare gets sold to Microsoft, and with it goes Banjo and all the other licenses that they had. And then in 2008, we get a new Banjo game, and it looks different. It plays completely different.
I can't
Everything about
believe
it.
That 2008 was 11 years ago.
Yeah, that's wild. I know. It
Holy
hurts. It
shit.
hurts my soul to say that. But basically, so Nuts and Bolts was Banjo 3, and they changed all the gameplay mechanics of Banjo Kazooie. It now, instead of becoming an adventure game and traveling around, and it was still about collecting stuff,
You gotta
Okay.
make your car.
but the big gameplay mechanic was, to traverse the world and to do the challenges to earn things, you have to build a vehicle.
Okay.
So the main gameplay mechanic, rather than being a 3D platformer and action-based, it was go into the garage and use these pieces you collect to build a vehicle. And then, depending on how well you built your vehicle, would depend on how well you could get through the level. But it was just that they threw what made Banjo fun out the window, and they implemented sort of this new mechanic that everybody just hated.
And the game also
Gotcha.
starts off as an insult to Banjo-Kazooie. Like, it
Yeah,
starts off with
it
them,
was-
like, being fat, out of shape.
They're like fat and out of shape, eating pizza. At
Well, I mean,
first.
you could argue that was just like Thor.
Yeah.
Spoiler: Thor being out of shape in the Avengers. It's been a long time.
Well,
since
they
they've done
fix it very
something.
quickly in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a good reason why Thor's fat, though.
Yeah, because he hasn't done anything in 11
No,
years.
because he's fucking depressed.
Body positivity. Anyway,
Yeah, fair.
yeah.
He suffers from
I'm
depression.
granted,
You don't need abs to be worthy.
But also being a Norse god and being in shape probably go together.
Yeah, I would think
I
so.
guess
Probably.
you know.
But so that's the thing, was the last main Banjo title was pretty junk, and they haven't done anything with Banjo since. So for 11 years, Banjo's just kind of been a rotting IP.
Same thing with Conquer.
Same thing with Conquer. Yeah,
Banjo's more
Conquer-
important.
Banjo.
I can tell you
yeah.
absolutely zero about Conquer.
Conquer was cool because he starts out as a very cute squirrel in Diddy Kong Racing. Very cute, friendly, kid-friendly.
Okay, so not an RTS game. That's where my mind went.
No,
was
not at
RTS
all.
Game. Yeah.
And then
Command and Conquer.
and then they were building a cutesy 3D platformer for Conquer. And then as the development went on with Conquer, it became more and more adult. And so it's an M-rated,
You like
very,
to see a
very
squirrel with
raunchy.
some big titties?
His girlfriend's like a porn star. He starts the game with like a hangover. And,
Gotta
and
fight.
He has to find
a
like
giant piece of shit.
just the game is just extremely raunchy. They had to slap labels on it. They were like, "This is not a kids game," but it looks like a kids game because it was made by the same people who did.
Yeah, so like Happy
Banjo.
Tree Friends or whatever that.
Kind of, sort of on the same level of that. Just yeah. But that was the last time we got a Conquer game. Was
No, the Xbox.
Well, they remade it. It was the same game though.
Oh yeah.
It was the same game. They just
Okay.
made it slightly-
Remastered?
Look, yeah, exactly.
I'll pick back
Um,
up Smash to play him though. To play
But
Banjo.
so that's the
Yeah,
thing
no, I
is
would too.
so
I haven't played Smash in way too long. It's been like 6 months at
So
least.
Banjo was surrendered to Microsoft in 2002, and then he got a mediocre game in 2008, and that's the last we heard of Banjo. And so then this past week, during the Nintendo Direct, Banjo-Kazooie is now back on Nintendo for Smash. He's now a character in Smash.
I've got
Which was, it
Banjo-Kazooie
was like
for
a
my
big deal.
Sorry 64. So
Yeah,
Your
it's
what
great.
I get to.
Her Sorry 64.
What's
is
a
what she
Sorry
said.
64?
I don't know. That's what she called
I
it.
I didn't want to cut anybody off because I'm not a mean person.
You're gonna have to cut people off in this podcast. I've already picked up on that. It's just gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm curious about this Sorry 64.
Oh my god.
You have to apologize to it to turn it on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Honestly, I'm practically a Canadian, so
Sorry.
That explains
sorry
the
about
accent.
Yeah, as you
I
boot it
don't
up,
have an
instead of like the
accent.
GameCube sound, it's like story.
sorry.
Sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah,
Sorry.
so I really hope that Xbox sees how popular and the reaction that Banjo has had. 'Cause
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
honestly, for many people, apart from Zelda, that was the biggest moment of the Direct, was the fact that Banjo is back on a Nintendo game.
Whereas
Mhm.
in Japan, it would be Dragon Quest.
And what's really interesting is if you look at the model for Banjo, that was one thing too that people didn't like in Nuts and Bolts, was even just his model just looks blocky and weird
Okay.
compared to the original. It just doesn't look as nice at all. Whereas in Smash, he looks more like a nicer, cleaner model of the original model that everyone does think fondly of. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I can.
No, it makes sense on the surface.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Well, 11 years later, technology is.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was E3 pretty much. Ian,
Yeah.
Ian, you want to chime in on anything here? or-
Oh yeah, Pokemon.
Pokemon,
They showed off
yeah.
the
Well, we
new
already saw a
waifu.
little bit of that. We pretty much saw most of it last
Can you
week, the
explain
week
to me?
before.
I've heard there's a new alternate form of Pokemon now because we've got like, I don't even remember what they're called, the Mega Stones.
Yeah, that's not it. That doesn't exist.
So we've
anymore, yeah.
replaced Mega Stones with.
Dynamax, which before Mega Evolutions were only certain Pokemon. With Dynamax, you can do any Pokemon in the game.
And what happens? They
They get big.
They get bigger and.
They turn into kaiju,
Okay.
giant monsters.
I'm familiar with the kaiju
Okay,
concept.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but for the audience, that's an appropriate.
Okay, yeah, no.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't understand kaiju.
Yeah, no. So think also it's gonna be crazy because the largest Pokemon is a whale called Whalmer, or Whalelord.
I'm
Whalelord?
familiar. Yeah,
Whalmer?
and Whalmer or Whalelord,
Whatever.
he was less dense than air.
So just imagine Dynamaxing that.
So how not dense could they possibly become?
It's gonna be huge.
Thank you guys for watching.
Oh no! Also, we need to talk about the fact that Pokemon, because there was an announcement that came out afterwards
Hunter.
about not every Pokemon is gonna be in the new Pokemon game. Like if you
Yeah,
have,
there's no national Pokedex. Not every single Pokemon is coming to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
because of the 3D render, but they're like, oh, for balancing reasons, like we have to balance it.
And it kind of makes sense. There's fucking almost 800 Pokemon.
No,
It
but-
is kind of reasonable.
But they're
that you
saying
can't
for
catch all 800
balancing,
Pokemon.
like the reason is balancing the game.
I think that's even fair. I mean, it's
No,
gonna be
no,
pretty
the-
hard to
the-
balance 800 Pokemon. Like,
They never balance the Pokemon. The reason is they just didn't want to. They don't have
Did
time
we
to make
talk
all the
about
3D
Animal
models.
Crossing?
We did not talk about Animal Crossing.
There's Animal Crossing.
Oh, a new Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing New Horizons was delayed to 2020,
Tom
which
Nook
is
just
sad.
drops you on an island.
but
but
we
it-
have a hard date,
But it was delayed
March 20th.
because
My
Nintendo.
birthday's gonna be crazy. Everything comes out in March.
It was
Next
delayed.
Yeah, March
year.
3rd is when Final Fantasy VII comes out. I saw.
Oh yeah.
It was
My
delayed.
birthday
Get
does
delayed,
not
though.
exist now because it's after.
It was
Knowing
delayed
Square
because
Enix?
Nintendo.
For a good time, sorry, you won't have.
It's okay.
It was delayed because Nintendo cares about their employees. Didn't want to overwork them.
But
so
knowing
thank
Square
you.
Enix, Final
Right.
Fantasy 7 could get delayed.
Fair.
We'll see. We'll see.
But actually,
Um,
speaking of Nintendo caring about shit, Metroid Prime, which is one of my favorite game series of all time.
Yes.
They announced like 6 months to a year ago. I live in an alternate timeline, so my dates could be really off here.
No, you're about right.
Announced that they completely scrapped
Yes.
the new Metroid Prime game and like fired everyone, deleted the code base, and said we're starting over.
They basically
Same.
said
The guys
this
from-
is not up to our standards.
Yeah,
And we want to
from
make the best game we
Retro
can. Retro Studios. They're the ones who made the.
Who made the original?
That's
three,
basically
which-
the same thing that's happened with Final Fantasy VII. That's why we waited so long. They
Okay.
literally they had a studio called CyberConnect 2, and they're like, "Y'all don't know what are you doing?" And then
Yeah, you
they went back to
just-
Square Enix.
Got it.
CyberConnect 2 knows how to make things look pretty, but they don't know how to make it
play
good.
play well. Yeah.
I don't know. No, the cloud they made did not look as
No,
good as
but
the
like
cloud
if you
is
look at
now.
all the games they've ever made, all their games look really good. Like they make the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. They did Azura's Wrath. They did like the JoJo fighting game, the 2 JoJo fighting game, the newer ones.
I am so fucking out of the loop of gaming.
No, but I'm
news
talking about
these
like in
days.
So
general,
there's a
they
new
make their
Animal
games look
Crossing.
great.
I know
Uh,
Animal Crossing.
Dot
I didn't live on
hack.
that one.
I want to thank y'all for watching.
Wait, I have
Wait, we
one
haven't
more.
talked about Animal Crossing yet.
No More Heroes 3.
I'm.
No More Heroes
God.
3.
Wait. What about Animal Crossing?
Tension, baby.
2019 is the year of Animal Crossing. I know it's delayed.
2020.
but
I'm so excited.
Fuck
You can have different skin colors that you could change at any time, which is great.
Play with friends. Play with Guiji.
I wish I could.
Can't you
Careful.
design?
Phrasing.
My
Phrasing.
phrasing is so bad.
Phrasing.
I'm so sorry.
Can't
I
you
wanna play with
design like
Luigi, too.
fences
Um,
now or something? Or there's
and then-
some new design element I heard.
On the Animal Crossing.
Yeah, on Animal Crossing, the new one.
Well, you can change your character design at any time, which is new. And then the skin colors.
You can pick where people's houses are now.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that's
That's a big
fun.
deal.
You can
'cause-
shovel trees now.
Um,
Can you
instead of
pick where
having
your
to chop
house is? Can you like? I want my house over here now.
No,
I
you
mean,
get
you've
a tent.
always been able to do that.
Have you?
Well, kind of.
I mean, at least in.
But you have a
New
tent
Leaf.
that you start off with, which is fun. The computer went
Yeah,
dark.
It's fine. No, it just screen goes dark.
So I'm
Just-
excited for that. There's a Sims 4 expansion, which no one else here cares about, but I do. And
My girlfriend
there's
cares
mermaids.
about Sims 4, so like.
There you go. This
She
is for
cares
your
about The
girlfriend.
Sims
So
4.
there's mermaids.
Get her on the
Thank you,
podcast and
Lisa.
they
All
can-
the
She
girls.
also cares. So the girlfriends
We'll
care about
we'll let
Sims
we'll
4
let the
is what
girls
I'm
talk
hanging up here.
Sims 4 all day. And
Hey, listen.
Yeah,
I
come on
love
over here, take my
Sims.
place.
I haven't played in years, but I love Sims.
We'll let the girls talk Sims 4 then. Next
probably did
podcast.
better
Well,
at
okay,
this
all
than I
you
am.
need to
Come
know is there are mermaids. You can be a mermaid, and there are other mermaid NPCs. They have
Fucking
new tattoos.
mermaids!
Wait, can you
Which is
now?
fun.
No,
Yeah!
I have questions. I have questions.
Now you guys can. Okay.
I fucking love mermaids, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like,
They've
do
got
you-
new tattoos.
Do you have like a mermaid tank in your house?
No, you can be in the ocean, like you swim and you get like a tail, and then you can literally talk to other mer people, and they can decide not to tell you that they're a mer person, and you can ask them and be like, "Hey, are you a merman?" And they will say no, even though you're swimming and you see their tail.
Can you
And
transform into
you
normal
can
people?
be
Or?
that I don't know. I didn't watch enough of the gameplay, and
I want to thank y'all
no
for
one cares
watching.
about what I have to say.
I care about what you have to say. I'm trying to.
Is time up? I'm just
I
really excited.
think time it is.
We're close to an hour and a half.
We're
You gotta
about
know
an
how
hour and a
long your
half.
podcasts are, right?
This is actually pretty
Sorry,
long
guys.
for what we
I
do.
love you
But
all.
that's good though. We want
Well-
longer podcasts.
Well, and more importantly, by the time we get to Applebee's, it'll already be Half-Life advertiser time, and we won't have to wait for food again.
That's true. We
So-
wrapped up early last time and had to wait for our half price.
And that was a fucking disaster. That was miserable.
It was like foreplay with the waiter. It was awful.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it wasn't as bad as the time we went without AC.
Yeah, Applebee's, fix your air conditioner. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for listening. Everything you want, nothing you need. This is the E3 wrap-up spectacular.
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Featuring Joey
Wrap-up
again.
special.
Hopefully we'll have him on again for the third time. Probably.
Probably not
I won't
next
press,
week,
I won't
but
press
I'll
my
come
luck.
back.
I'll steal his credit card again. Don't worry.
Actually,
Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/VGX7, right?
That's us.
That sounds
That's
about right.
us.
We did a live stream a couple days ago. You
We
can
did. We
check
did a
it out
live stream.
on,
It was a bit of
what's
a-
the channel, Ian? What's the channel?
Well, his is Jack Nara, Jaknara.
Because that's where we did the test stream.
We did a small test
Basically,
stream.
we talked about E3, so a lot of stuff we talked
Basically
about
a
here.
bare bones version of this. But then also you can follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/VGX7TV.
Where we plan to do some more live stream in the future.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes.
I hope.
Hopefully. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you
Wait,
next time.
But before we go, sorry to interrupt.
You're
Do you guys
fine.
have a panel at MetroCon this year?
We do not.
No. Okay.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, never mind. That was my only question. I'm
Alrighty.
sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
Wait, no, I got a question.
All right.
What about the mermaids?
We'll see you
Yeah,
next
great.
time on Everything You Want, Nothing You Need.
I love you, Klaus.
Bye bye.